I'm going to try to show how to make this flower top design that's used in the Chinese thread books. So we'll see how this goes. You start with a piece of paper that's twice as long as it is tall, and this one happens to be 14 inches by 7 inches, which is humongous for this, but I didn't want the tiny little details to be unclear to see, so we're going to make a really big one. This is the pattern of the folds that I start off with, so I do all the folding before I actually start, and I'm not going to make the folds from scratch here because hopefully you can do that. But it goes like this. The folds are already in this, but I'm just making them sort of more quickly so you can see how it goes. So you start off like this. So that's folded into fourths one way. Now it's going to be folded into eighths the other way. And I fold it in half, then bring these to the middle, just like I did the other piece. It's folded in fourths now. I'm opening it back into half and bringing these folds that I've already made up to the center. And this up to the center. Turn it over, do the same thing. This fold has already been made. This comes up to the center, this comes up to the center. Now it's in eighths, and I have folded all of the red lines on here. Now I'm going to turn it over and fold these. You can see that there's already a square here. I call that the root fold, the diagonal within the square. And so basically you're just folding this square in half towards the center, making a root fold on the diagonal. Open that back up. These folds have already been done, but now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to make this X. And the way I'll make the X is, again, I can use the folds that are already there. There's a square here. I'm going to make the root fold here and the root fold there. So it comes down. If I line up all my lines, it'll fold evenly. Same thing up here. My lines are even. Okay, so now all the initial folding is done, and I'm going to start making the piece. And what I'm going to do is fold it in half again, like this. So this is open here, this is open here. And you notice the design is on the inside. If the design is on the inside, it'll come out with if your paper has two different sides on it. If your design is on the inside, it'll show on the outside when you're done. And this is the way it'll show up if you start with the design on the outside. I'm going to go back and forth between these because it'll make it easier to see the folds. So I start off by using these folds here. I think of this as a chimney, and I'll show you, and that hopefully that'll make sense. And the chimney is open at the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold on these root lines here. You can see it stands up, and then squish it down, and that chimney now looks like a little house. I'm going to do it on the same thing on the other side. Go down the chimney, stand this up, and looks like a little house on the outside. There we go. Now I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little bit. And now we're going to, I think of this as closing the doors on the house. So this comes in, we turn it over, do the same thing. Close the doors on the house. We're just using folds that are already there. Okay, now this looks like a little person inside the house. And there's a fold there that we did already, and they're going to take their little hands, which are down here in the middle, and bring them out. There you go. Same thing on the other side. Think of these little hands that are going to get put out to the side, put out to the side. There we go. Okay. Now, I said these are like little hands that are out to the side. They've got this little pocket here. You put your finger in their hand and you squeeze that down. This is sort of a tricky maneuver. But you bring that down, and you get to see me do this 4 times. Finger in the pocket, bring it down, turn it over, same thing on the other side. Make sure everything's folding nicely. Folding nicely. And that's what it looks like here. Now I'm going to now switch over to my other model, which I already started, because now I'm going to be doing a lot of work on this part, and that's going to make the flower, and I don't want the design to get in the way of you seeing what I'm doing. So let's see if I can even zoom in a little bit more now. Okay, now here's the middle, and we're going to take this piece, and it's going to be like a little kite. It's going to come to the middle. I have to really make sure I stay on camera with these. See the little kite? Look, it's a little not quite right here, and you know that's not going to affect the final look. Open it up and do the same thing from the bottom. You're going to make a little kite, come right to the middle. Right to the middle. And what you have here is a fold that comes like this and a fold that comes like this on both sides. Right? You're going to fold again along these 2 lines at the same time, and what's going to happen is that this is going to squish. So what I'm going to do is fold on that line, fold on this line, and look, the middle squishes together. I'm going to try to make it squish right up to the point. See that? Lay it down and point that little point right up to the center. Same thing on the other side. Take this little point, bring it right up to the center. I've got to get it right there on the point. Really take your time with this. I can feel that I'm rushing because I don't want the video to be too long. But when you're doing this, take your time. Okay, same thing on the other side. Make the kite come to the middle. The middle. And do it from the bottom. Then right to the middle. There you go. And we'll do that same folding on those lines that I've made right up to the centerpiece. Squish it, bring it up. There we go. Okay, I already did this on the other side, so we're almost ready, we're almost done. What I have to do now is, let's see, there's my box, is I'm going to take these these pieces and I'm going to fold them towards the middle. And there's my little star, my little flower. Right, it's that root fold again. This paper has to be thin. Origami paper is a nice paper to use because it's generally thin. You have to really experiment. If the paper's thick, it's really tough to do this. This paper seems to be pretty good. Okay, so remember we had it like this. We just did that. Now I've got to bring it like that. There we go. Let me do a few adjustments, and there's my box. This will be glued down, and if I had continued doing this one, it would have had the design on the outside with white around it. Okay, I got these directions. I figured this out by looking at this book here and this book, and then did things the way it made it easier, but they basically are the same thing.